Good morning, guys. So today is Wednesday, April 22nd. We normally have music on Wednesday mornings. So there will be a music link post somewhere on today's schedule if you want something to do for music today, or sing some songs with your family, or have a dance party and sing some songs. So we are going to continue on in our Piggy Pie packet, and we're starting on page 8 today, talking about making connections. Making connections is a tool we use when reading. We find ways to connect with characters in our story. It helps us better understand the story. So it says that this story has characters that are seen in other books or songs. Write about one or more of these. These are called text-to-text connections. So sometimes when we're reading a story, some of the characters are from other stories we know, or there's information in it that we learned from different stories. And so that's called text-to-text connections. And in the story Piggy Pie, there was quite a few different references to stories or nursery rhymes or things that you have probably heard. So if you can't remember any right now, go ahead and go back and watch the Piggy Pie book again. And when you're watching it, see if you can come up with some connections. I know a connection that I always make to this story is over the river and through the woods. That's how you get to Old MacDonald's farm in this story, but it was a, story I grew up with. Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. Little Red Riding Hood. So that's a text-to-text connection that I got, but there's lots of them in this story. One of the hidden ones that's kind of tricky has to do with what she wrote in the sky, what the witch wrote in the sky. Now, it's based off of a movie, and some of you may never have seen it. It's an older movie. It's an older movie even by my terms, so you know that it's an older movie. It's a movie called The Wizard of Oz. So if you've seen The Wizard of Oz, go back and look at the story again. Maybe some of you already caught on to it, but it tends to be the connection that fewest kids get. A lot of kids haven't seen The Wizard of Oz, and it's not something that they remember and connect with. But in the sky, the witch wrote, "Surrender, piggies." And in The Wizard of Oz, the Wicked Witch of the East, no, is that the one who died? Anyways, one of the witches wrote in the sky, "Surrender, Dorothy." So it was a play on The Wizard of Oz. So those are two text-to-text connections, or text to, just connections that you can make through the story. So you're going to go ahead and write a picture about some connections you saw. Those aren't the only ones. There were quite a few of them in there. So go ahead and go back into the story, watch it again, and see if you can find some connections to books or stories that you already know. And then write those connections down at the bottom and go ahead and send that to me. That's page 8, connections. On page 9, it doesn't have a page number. Sorry, I must have forgot to write that on that one. B, it's one of those that was a double, and I forgot to take out the bottom one. So go ahead and cross out the bottom there, the same thing. So, they want to know if the words up above are the same or the opposite of lumbered. So, to lumber means to move in like a slow, heavy kind of way. So, when something's really heavy or hard to move, you lumber. So like the log truck lumbered up the street. So it's moving, but it's moving with effort. It takes work to move. It's not easy. Easy would be the opposite of lumbered. So if you walked swiftly, or if you moved gracefully, those would be opposites of lumbered. Lumbered is more like trudged and worked and just like struggled to move. So we've got a word bank, and we are going to decide if those words mean the same or the opposite of lumbered. So, trudged is one of our words. Staggered is one of our words. Glided, hobbled, coasted, and whisked. So we're going to use all these words in terms of movement, because some of them can mean other things outside of moving. But we're going to look at them all when it comes to how we move or how things move. So trudged. So trudged is like if you like you're struggling, you are working for it, you're starting and stopping. That's trudged, like you trudged up a hill. So knowing that, is that kind of the same idea as lumbered, or is that the opposite? Right, it's the same. It's hard to move, but you're moving and you're working for every step. It's a struggle, right? So trudged would be the same. So under same, the kids with the two happy faces, we're going to write trudged. T-R-U-D-G-E-D. Trudged. Okay, my next word is staggered. Okay, so I wrote trudged. I crossed it off in my word bank, and now I'm looking at staggered. So staggered means to walk or move in not a straight, quick motion. You're kind of walking and off course, and you're not going real fast because you're off balance. That's staggered. A lot of times when you're carrying something really heavy, that's staggered. Okay, so is that the same as lumbered? Or is it the opposite? So remember, lumbered is when things are difficult and they're kind of awkward and you're not moving real smooth. The opposite of lumbered would be straight line, quick, fluid motion. Yeah, it's the same. Staggered is the same thing. So S-T-A-G-G-E-R-E-D. Staggered. So trudged and staggered. Oh, what about glided? What do you think of when you think of glide? Airplanes glide. Sometimes they say ice skaters glide. To glide means a real smooth, flowing motion. Is that the same as lumbered? Or is that the opposite? Yeah, it's the opposite, right? To glide is to be smooth and just go on about your way. Okay, if I said the log truck glided by me, you'd be like, ooh, it was going. It's different than lumbered. So I've got G, L, I, D, E, D, glided. And that's going to go under opposite. Picture of the girl smiling and frowning, opposite. Next is hobbled. So when you hobble, it's kind of like limping. You're not moving in a clean, swift motion. You're hobbling, you're limping usually. Yeah, it's the same as lumbered. So hobbled, H-O-B-B-L-E-D. And that tells me, means all my lines are filled up on same, that the other two are going to be opposite. But let's double check and make sure. So coasted. When something coasts, you think of a roller coaster, it's real smooth. It just flows along. They're coasting. So when something coasted, it would be the opposite of lumbered. Oops, C-O-A-S-T-E-D. Coasted. And then whisked. This time it doesn't mean whisk like you do in the kitchen with your parents. Whisked means it went by real fast. It just whisked by me. Whew. So that's whisked. W-H-I-S-K-E-D. Booyah. Okay, so that's page 9. Oops, page 9. Same or opposite. Okay. Moving on to page 10. You're gonna need scissors and a glue stick. So, I love to read. You're gonna read the sentence and then glue the picture that matches next to the sentence. So the first one, the spy snuck in. Which picture matches the spy snuck in? Good. All right, down there at the bottom is a spy being all sneaky peek. Okay, so you're going to need to read the other sentences and then cut out and glue the picture next to the sentence that matches it. All right, it's a good chance for you to practice your reading skills using our S-Blend words. And then we're going to go to page 11, phonics fun. So they want us to color, finish the word, read it, and write it. So the first picture, I would look at it and say it's a top, because it is. But the first two letters in my word are SP. Sp, sp. What word can you think of that would match this picture, but starts with a sp? Spin! Good job. So we're going to trace over the S and the P, and we're going to write a really nice I and N, the best we can do. And we've got spin. Okay, so now I've finished my word. I didn't color, but you guys can color. Color, finish my word. I'm going to read it. Spin. Now they want me to write it. Now remember, I've got my 3 lines. So my tall letters are tall. They go from top to bottom. My small letters are small. They go from middle to bottom. And my fall letters fall. They go from middle down past bottom. Tall, small, fall. Okay? I don't have any tall letters in spin, but I have small and I have fall. So S is a small letter. It's gonna go between my middle and my bottom line. Spin is a fall letter. It's gonna start at my middle line and fall down below my bottom. My P, did I say spin is my P is a fall letter. I is a small and N is a small. Notice how each one touches that top middle and the bottom, and then my fall letter falls below. They're not floating in the air. Okay, they're sitting on the line. The next word has an arrow pointing to a dot on the dog. We've done this one before. It is spot. 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 Okay. Now my T is a tall letter. Okay. So go ahead and finish the next ones. All right. I'm trying to figure out what this third one is. I know if I was in the classroom right now, you guys would be screaming it at me like you know what it is. This is stem, this is swim, and that is stop. Step. 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 Okay, sorry. Step. Step. Taking a step. That took a little longer than it probably should have. But that is step. So spin, spot, step, stem, swim, stop. Okay? So sound it out. Write the word, color. You got this. Okay? So that'll be phonics fun. Page 11. Do, 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 do. And the rest is for tomorrow. So that is all we have for our reading for today. Remember to make sure you are reading to someone in your house. It can be a cat, it can be a dog, it can be a guinea pig, it can be a snake, it can be a stuffed animal, it can be a brother or a sister, or a mirror. Maybe you read to yourself in a mirror. Okay, but practice reading. It is so important. All right, I will see you guys